Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Say Less Basketball Podcast. You are currently listening to episode 12. We hope you're doing well wherever and whenever you're listening to this, and we have a lot of NBA topics for you to hear about this week. As always, if you haven't by now, follow us on social media. Banner should be down below. Twitter and Instagram, we've gone off. Shout out to everybody. Shout out the whole team. But this week, we're talking about the top 5 scores of all time, and a lot of scoring going on in the league. Start one, bench one, cut one, with Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Donovan Mitchell. And then, obviously, as always, player versus player debate. We're going to talk about what if Derrick Rose and Brandon Roy were healthy. And, of course, going to wrap it all up with the bold takes of last week and this week. All right, ladies and gentlemen. And all right, folks, gentlemen, let's get into this. The top 5 scorers of all time. This should be interesting because I do not have a certain player on this list that you two might.
No, we know. I already know who this is.
I also do not have another certain player
on this list.
Thinking about on this list. So we'll see what happens. I'm very interested to see if you guys awaken the giant. I do say so myself. But let's get into this. I don't know who wants to go first. Because
did you guys rank them 1 through 5?
Yes,
I tried to.
I didn't do that, but
I just put them just 5 best to me.
I just put the 5 best. I could do 1 through 5 off the top of my head, I guess. It's kind of hard with the top people, but
I think the top 2
since you have a ranking, why don't you go first, Zach? I want to hear this.
I think the top 3 personally is a lock. I think
last time you said that it was asinine, so
it was a lock.
Let me just get ready for this.
But whatever. But the first 3 I think are a lock. I think the first 3, no matter how many, no matter how you rank them, I think it's Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and Wilt Chamberlain.
That's fair.
I think solely because MJ and Kobe, I mean, amazing.
Well, can we?
Legendary.
I gotta clap for that, bro. I gotta clap for that, bro.
I appreciate y'all. Top 3, I think, are locked because looking at some of Wilt's numbers too during the research for this is just unreal. I mean, only player to score 100 points. The iconic 100-point game quota, where he's holding up to 100 points. I mean, that's just enough of an argument right there.
Yeah.
Kobe, obviously the 81-point game. I mean, that's enough right there too, I think. And then MJ, the multiple unreal finals performances and playoff performances are enough. I think he has the most 60-point games in NBA history, and then Kobe's like second, Will has the most, I think, and then it's like MJ and Kobe, and then like Elgin Baylor too. But then the other 2, I actually have LeBron James and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to round up my list. Kareem, because he's the all-time leader in scoring. He's the all-time leader in points. I'm Googling.
Same thing now.
I'm Googling most 60-point games in NBA history because I want to get that stat. But I think LeBron. I think the 4 and the 5 are interchangeable. I think you could put Wilt or LeBron ahead, but LeBron's up there. LeBron keeps on, rising up on that points list. He's also had a 60-point game. Yeah, Wilt has had 32. Kobe's had 6.
It's not even close. It's just Wilt, and then
it's just Wilt. 32.
The rest of the league.
That's nuts.
Or the rest of NBA history.
MJ the career 9 with 69 points, pretty unreal. And then Harden, Baylor, Elgin Baylor, the late legend Elgin Baylor, RIP, and then Damian Lillard round out that 60-point game list. So that's my top 5. I have LeBron up there because he just keeps climbing. He's an all-time. I think he's developed very well into this era of the 3-point shot. I think he is slowly developed into a decent 3-point shooter. Obviously he's got the signature spin the ball, look at the ball and then
it's not a signature.
Pop that.
Doing something for 2 years is not signature.
It's been recognized on Twitter, so I'm putting that up there. But and then Kareem, he's just because he's the all-time leader. So that's my top 5.
Mohammed, you still paying attention, bro?
I want to see what other.
Not after that LeBron take.
I want to see what folks have to say.
I'll go next, Mohammed. I won't steal the show from you because I know you probably have some similar stuff with me. First of all, Zach, props, all right? Because MJ, Wilt, and Kobe are top 5. I don't know. If you don't have them in your top 5 scorers of all time list, I'm going to immediately disregard everything you say after that.
I mean, they
don't care what you say. But let's just go through some. Yeah. Wilt. Well, so what I put down in my notes for Wilt is virtually every scoring record ever for the regular season. That's basically what I put. He has the 4 longest streaks of consecutive 50-point games, 40-point games, 30-point games, 20-point games. I mean, there's no point to even go into his stats. There's almost no point because he literally was so dominant. He's the most unstoppable player ever. I think everybody would agree on that. They changed everything about the NBA because of him. I won't go more into him.
Wasn't he doing all of this in like Converse too?
Yeah. He not to mention he was like the fastest dude back then, and he had to jump it the highest vertical.
All these in Chuck Taylors,
bro.
He's doing all these in Chuck Taylors.
People who say
first unicorn,
it's insane. So first of all, then MJ is first in all-time points per game average, right? Barely above Wilt. He has the most 30. So Wilt holds all the scoring records for the regular season. Michael Jordan holds them all for the postseason.
Facts.
850-point playoff games. Guess what?
Yep.
It's number 1. 38 40-point playoff games. We're going to do this. We're going to keep doing it. Guess what? That's number 1. 109 30-point playoff games. That's number 1. Crazy, right? 173 20-point playoff games. Would you look at that? That's number 1. He only played 179 playoff games. So 6 of them, he didn't score at least 20 points. That's crazy. That's crazy. Played in the most gruesome era in the NBA. I would say most people would agree with that. The fact that he still torched people in a non-shooting era the way he did, that's insane. Only player ever to not score under 15 points in a playoff game. Only player ever. That's crazy to me. Like when I think about some of these other guys, Kobe, Wilt, like those, that to me that's hard to wrap my head around. 10-time scoring champ. How many years did Michael Jordan play?
15.
15. If we take away the 2 years where he didn't really play, that's 13. 10 of those 13 years, he led the league in scoring.
He was injured. Remember, he broke his leg, so he only played 10 games that season, so 12 seasons basically.
12 seasons, and then you can almost disregard the two on Washington if you want. So virtually every year he really could play.
Mm-hmm.
He was leading the league in scoring. So there's Michael Jordan. Talked about Wilt, Kobe Bryant, 81-point game. He basically mimicked MJ's game, but he was probably better in terms of like footwork and fundamentals. I don't think he was a better player, but just in terms of fundamentals, he didn't rely on one shot, which I give props to Kareem, but Kareem had basically one unstoppable shot. And I'm just factoring that in because Kobe could do basically anything. He had 50 points in 4 straight games, which I can't remember if that's been done by anybody else other than Wilt, but virtually unstoppable on offense. I mean, was there anything Kobe Bryant couldn't do? You asked him to be a point guard, he could do it, just like MJ. Like, he was unbelievable. He can score from any part of the game, part of the court. Shooting wasn't even prioritized when Kobe was around. You know, I mean, I guess in the later point of his career, right?
Yeah.
But like, by that point, whatever. So here's where we're going to disagree. I've got Kevin Durant on this list. And
no.
Kevin Durant, when you look at this, Kevin Durant is the most efficient scorer of all time. and it's not close. It's literally not even remotely close. The only person that even comes in the same stratosphere as him is LeBron James. It's not even the same stratosphere. I'm looking at their true shooting percentages. True shooting percentages basically take into all shooting, all kinds of shooting. But if you look at LeBron's is heavily dominated from close range, right? Because he's not the greatest shooter. Durant is statistically the third best mid-range, maybe not statistically, literally, but third best mid-range shooter ever behind Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant. He's the youngest player ever to hit the 50-40-90 club. He did this while averaging the second most points ever to do it, 28.1 points per game. 3-time scoring champ. He would have won the fourth had he played in the last game of
I thought he had 4.
No, he didn't win it because he chose to sit out the last game in 2013.
I thought he had
so Melo.
He does have 4, doesn't he?
Does he?
I looked at it earlier. He's had 2 30 seasons where he averaged 30, and then
Google it right now.
There's a 27 and there's a 28 that he won, which, in my opinion, are weak scoring titles. But
weak scoring titles. You know that Durant's career started off in an era that scoring wasn't big. Like, just honestly, it wasn't as big as now. But let's just keep going. Second longest 25 point per game playoff series average of all time. By that I mean how many series in a row did he score at least average 25 points per game? 16. He's second to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan has 37, so nobody's going to be even close, right?
Yeah, he has 4.
He has 4?
Yes.
Okay. Well, then he would have 5 had he played. I guess I
think that would have been he would have been second all time in scoring titles if he got that 5th one. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and he would have had 4 in a row if he had done that because he won it 3 years in a row and then he sat out.
Yeah.
But I mean Durant, he's not going to get all these scoring numbers that everybody else has because he just doesn't play that way. Like, he really just doesn't. Especially most of his career, he played behind somebody who took more shots and was more ball dominant. Like, honestly, that's just true.
That's facts. It's facts.
So he's not going to get those numbers like that, but he's going to hit 20,000 as the second youngest player ever behind LeBron James. He would probably be the youngest player ever if he came out of high school. And who knows with 30, but I don't think he'll get those accolades like those guys because he doesn't play that way. It's mostly the eye test with him, watching him score the ball. Nobody can shoot like him at that height. No one. It's just not even close. And at his height. Now, obviously there are people that can shoot better than him, but and then his facet, he can score from anywhere on the court, bro. He's not as good as Steph Curry or Klay Thompson from the 3, but he's pretty dang close. He's a way better 3-point shooter than LeBron James, who you brought up. I'm only saying that because he just is. He's a better mid-range shooter. LeBron's gotten better at both facets of the game, but he's not near Durant. So that's why I have Durant. This 5th one might shock. It'll definitely shock you, Zach. I don't know if it'll shock Mohammed. I got Allen Iverson.
Oh my goodness, that's unreal.
Why? Do we have the same 5?
Yes.
Oh my God. Bro. All right, then you go. I won't even talk about AI. You go.
Okay. Well, thanks to Will, he kind of legit told my whole list and all the things to back him up. One thing about Mike and Wilt, if I was to put them in order, Mike and Wilt, I think I put Wilt over Mike just because Wilt was more dominant. But they're the only 2 guys to have 6 straight scoring titles in the league history. Obviously, Michael's 10 scoring titles is more than anybody's ever, and he blows everybody out on that stat. But like you said, Mike, Wilt, Durant, I think just because Durant is 7 feet tall, it can play like Kobe and Mike. Maybe not the mid-range, but in terms of handling the ball, in terms of getting to the basket, shooting the mid-range, shooting the 3, just the fact that he does that at 7 feet tall is just amazing. Kobe, obviously, what was it? I think he had a stretch with 8-9 games where he had 40 points, 50 points, and 60 points. I don't think he scored under than 40 in that 9-game stretch. His 81-point
that was in his 4.50 where he had 4 50-point games in a row. That was in that stretch.
Yeah. So I put AI because first I looked at scoring titles, and AI had 4. He could have had 5, but Kobe's 35-point game, points per game season, the year that he should have got the MVP over Steve Nash, but just because he was a 7th seed, he didn't get it. AI could have had his 5th scoring title, but Kobe obviously took it. But I put AI because my list kind of consisted of longevity plus just the way how they can score from anywhere. And I think AI is the best scoring point guard of all time, if you consider him a point guard. But I know everybody puts him the shooting guard like me, but as a small man, I should say, I think AI with just the load he carried with the 76ers, especially his first couple of years, he won the scoring title, I think, his 3rd year in the league.
It's stupid. It's just stupid.
And he won it the year, I think he had 3 straight years because he won it in 99, 2000, and then his MVP season in 01. I'm pretty sure, yeah, in 01. And I think he has 27 or 26,000 career points. He's averaged, I don't know his points per game career average. I think it's close to
26.
Yeah,
something.
26.
I have the rankings. I'll share that later.
Okay. So I think just AI as a small guard, he was barely 6 feet. And the fact that he could just, what he did to guys like Kobe and Mike, I don't know if you guys remember, but him and Kobe's battles throughout the regular season and playoffs, for him to do that against a great defender like Kobe, and then obviously, the iconic crossover on Mike, I just think that AI is just versatility, and the fact just how small and skinny he was, the fact that he could just go out there and get buckets like that, it's just insane to me. So I put him as my top 5. I don't know if you guys kind of were hesitant to put other people in, but I was hesitant to put in James Harden, Kyrie.
Mm-hmm.
I was hesitant to put in Elgin Baylor.
Yeah, I was thinking about guys like Elgin Baylor, Jerry West, who Oscar Robertson, who put up big numbers, obviously in their respective eras.
Kareem, I just want to say Kareem was 6th on my list. Kareem is right there.
I put Kareem. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing about LeBron is though, LeBron, if he had the game he had now throughout his early days, I'd probably consider him top 5. It's just that early in his early days, he was so athletically built, he could just get to the basket. So the whole factoring about how they can score and where they can score, that's why I kind of put LeBron outside my top 5. I know longevity-wise, he's probably gonna be the all-time leading scorer, and he's consistently put up, 25-point games, 25 points per game, virtually every season except for his first 2 years. So I'll give him that. I'll give him credit for that. But I just think his developed game it's too late for me to put him top 5 just because he's kind of developed his all-around game a couple years.
I want to also say what he was saying, Zach. I looked at LeBron and I consider him, and he has a high point per game average, right? 27.7,
27,
something like that. But I was like, yeah, he's gonna obliterate Kareem on the all-time scoring list probably, but it's just gonna be all longevity stats. That's what most of LeBron's stats are just gonna be. He's gonna be leading in all of them because of longevity. It's not necessarily just because he's a better scorer. And don't get me wrong, he's a great scorer. I just don't. And basically, shooting is what separates him.
Yeah, shooting.
Yeah.
I do want to say though, I want to add on to this AI stuff, bro, because you didn't go deep.
I like AI. Yeah.
AI. First of all, the shortest player in the top 25 scorers of all time. He's 7th on the 7th on the list. All of the guys that I listed are in the.
What was his official height?
6 feet.
He's 6 feet.
Yeah. They call him 6 feet.
I remember a LeBron comment that said his official height was 6 feet, but he played like he was 6'8".
Yep. So let's get into this, all right?
One of the best of all time. I respect the AI pick. I'm not gonna lie.
We were talking about players resting, right, and it being too hard to play back-to-backs, bro. You want to know what Mr. Allen Iverson averaged in minutes per game for his career? 41.1. 41.1.
No
right?
way.
This man.
No way.
This man. Fourth all time. The 4th minutes all time average. You want to know who the 3 players were before him? Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain, and I think someone else way back. They all played 50 years earlier than him, 40 years earlier than him.
Oh my God.
He has the 2nd highest playoff point per game average of all time behind MJ. He's in the 20,000 point club, but he only did it in 14 years, right? He only played 14 years. That's why LeBron's going to get these things. Most of these guys didn't play that long. Kareem played forever, right?
Right.
And Kobe also did, but he missed a lot of years. LeBron's had the luxury or not. But he has the third highest playoff minute per game also of all time. You want to know how much that is? If you thought that other one was bad, this is going to make you mad. 45.1 minutes. 3 minutes of rest on average in a playoff game. You know why?
Unreal.
Because look at the teams he had.
Yeah, I was going to say that 0-1 team he took to the finals. Oh my goodness.
So, and the two players that played more minutes than him, again, played 40 years prior. So everything was different. So he was doing this in this kind of era, not this era, but like, a bit more grit and grind era. I just want to acknowledge that he's a 4-time scoring champ, by the way, as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to acknowledge that, because this man we all know AI had nothing, pretty much virtually no help, not literally, but like virtually no help. And he had to play that long in those games and still put up these scoring numbers. You know how exhausting that is? Tell me one player right now that could do it. Anybody. Just name one. I don't think there's one. I just don't.
I don't think so. No.
And that's respect. I'm just trying to be honest. Like, I don't think there's anybody that can play that kind of minutes today. Maybe they could average points.
I'd say Westbrook, just because of his energy, but obviously he's dealt with injuries, so I don't know if he.
I was thinking about Westbrook. I was thinking about Harden could get the points easily, but But like to play that long, play that hard, have to carry that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. That was a major reason I had
the fact that he never lifted weights, and he wasn't lazy, but he didn't take practice seriously. He didn't lift weights. He was 6 feet and just skinny and scrawny. The fact that he just go out there and just drop buckets on the 0-1 Lakers or just on Mike and then on Kobe, it's just crazy, man.
So yeah, and then outside of Kobe Bryant, all these guys I listed are in the top 10 in scoring ever.
Yeah.
For points per game. Kobe is 13th.
Yep. I agree, except for I don't agree with Kevin Durant. You might say he's the most effective. You might say he's the most efficient. But whenever you look at it, his points per game career totals are weak.
They're more than LeBron. Guys. It's more than LeBron.
He only has 6 50-point games.
What?
So he's 14th in 50-point games, and his career high is only 54.
He's 14th in 50-point games, but he still averages more than LeBron. That's crazy.
So he's just a more
career high was
scorer. His career high was 54 points, and that was way back in 2014. So I just think if you say he's the most efficient, you say he's the most effective, why does he not have the 50-point games and the 60-point games?
Out of every player that we have talked about today, he's the only one that isn't the offensive, the dude who runs the whole offense. He's the only one.
All these guys.
He's the only. No, he is. That's a fact. Tell me which one of those guys.
He is an ISO player.
No, I'm saying that runs the whole team. That runs the team, bro. Wilt was the whole team. Kobe, whole team. Allen Iverson, definitely the whole team. LeBron, whole team. And then MJ, obviously, scoring wise, whole team. So like Kevin Durant's the only one out of these guys that doesn't need to be that scorer. That's why he could go play with Steph and Clay. That's why he could play with Kyrie and Harden and just be like, go ahead, do your things. Just honestly, that's my opinion.
The whole thing with him playing with Westbrook, like Westbrook literally.
I'm explaining to you why he's not going to get those accolades. He's just not.
Right. If he doesn't have those accolades, then I don't think
he's still going to average more
points. I value those 50-point games and those 60-point games more than his ability to not score.
But you value that more than his point per game average of all time, which is fourth on the list?
Yes, I do. Because I think
so if a dude has 20 50-point games, but he has a worse point per game average all time than Kevin Durant, you value that more?
Yes, I do, because based on the later seasons in their careers, they regress in points per game averages over their career. And Durant, I'm sorry, but Durant is not
the best scorers.
But Durant will regress during his career, and his points per game will drop when he finishes his career. Because that's just the way it happens. When players get older, their points per game drop, and it will happen with Durant. I guarantee you.
I think Durant, out of most of these guys, he has the best chance of keeping it high.
That's what I'm saying. The way he plays, like, he's 7 feet, he can shoot over anybody.
He's a shooter,
come on,
bro.
Man.
I disagree, and I value these 50-point games and these 60-point games more because these top 10 he's not even in the top 10. He has not scored 60-point games. He doesn't have 50.
Why are you basing your argument over 50-point, 60-point games, man? You just sound dumb.
Your career high should reflect
you just sound dumb,
how
bro.
good you are in scoring. Let me just read off these 50.
All right, hey, can you also read off how many times Durant's ever shot the ball 30 times at least, or 25?
50-point.
Will, can you look up shots per game, like just off of like Kobe and AI, Mike, all of them? Can you look up shots per game?
50-point games. Let's just read off these. Wilt 118 times. That's nuts.
Don't even bother with Wilt. It's not even worth it.
MJ 31, Kobe 25. Harden 23, Baylor 17, Rick Barry 14, LeBron 12. I mean, I just see a recurring theme here. You know, we all had Mike, we all had Wilt, we all had Kobe. AI 11, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar 10, Dame 12, Steph Curry 9, Bernard King 8, Dominique Wilkins. Dominique Wilkins and Bernard King have more 50-point games than Kevin Durant. Whatever. Kevin Durant 6, Pete Maravich 6, Adrian Dantley 6, Bob Pettit 6. Russ has scored 5, so has 5. I mean, I look at this top 50-point games list and these career highs, and I just do not see Durant in these, and I take him off of the top 5. I have him in my top 10. I have him at like 7 or like 6. I have Elgin Baylor, I think, is certainly up there. I think.
I got it. All right, I got it.
AI as well.
I got it.
Stephen Curry, obviously, as well.
We knew that
been
was
on
coming.
A scoring.
Oh, just stop talking just to talk, bro.
Been on a scoring flame, Steph Curry, recently in the past couple of games. He also has a 60-point game to his name. I just don't. I mean, you might see he is effective, but he doesn't have these legendary 50-point performances in these legendary. Game,
bro. Listen to yourself. You're basing your top 5 scorers off of 50-point games, bro. Like, just stop talking.
And Durant, and his career high in playoffs. What's his career high in the playoff games? Let's see.
It's funny, Will, because Durant has a good chance to be top 10 in scoring all time, and then he probably has a good chance to be top 10 in scoring points per game, career average too. It's crazy. I think that's way more valuable than 50-point games, which is what casuals apparently argue for now.
He has his career high in playoffs is 50 against the Clippers in 2019.
Well, Jordan's the only person with a 60-point game, so it's not far off.
I mean, this 50. If he scored 54 in 2014, why hasn't he scored 54 since? And especially in the influx of scoring. So that's my argument. That is my argument against him. You might say he's more effective.
Oh my God! Look at this, dude. Once I read these stats, it's not even gonna be close. It's not even gonna be arguable. Okay. Let me go through this. First of all of the people that
I frankly do not care what you said, because Bernard King and Wilkins have more 50-point games than he does.
Okay, so Michael Jordan. Okay, first of all, these guys that you're mentioning take a whole. So LeBron actually takes similar amounts of shots per game. He takes more, but then Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, who else did we mention? Kobe Bryant. They take more. They take 3 to 4 more shots per game than Kevin Durant.
Whatever. 3.
Well, that's significant.
Career averages.
That's career. Yeah.
3 more shots. 3 more shots per game.
So you times
3 shots.
You times 4 or 3 times 2,000.
Come on, man.
Let's see.
Come on, bro.
Let's just see that.
3 shots? Come on, man.
4. Let me do that number.
Man.
I don't need to do that. 4 times 2,000. Let's just say 2,000. No, how many games do you play in a career? Like 1,500 or a long career?
Yeah, it's 1,500. I think Mike only played about 1,100.
Okay.
Let me ask you this: is Durant more effective than Jordan and Chamberlain?
6,000 more shots. 6,000.
Is Durant a more effective scorer and a more efficient scorer than Jordan and Chamberlain?
He's a more efficient scorer than Durant or than Jordan. Yeah.
Wow.
He is. It's not saying he's a better scorer. I think Jordan's a better scorer, but Durant's just more efficient. The numbers show that Durant's the most efficient scorer ever. It's just not even close. But Wilt and Jordan are better.
Depending on what stat you look at.
I just by efficiency, I'm going by
efficiency,
field goal percentages.
By efficiency, he is 0.02% ahead of LeBron James and Wilt Chamberlain. So there you go.
Are you going by the stat efficiency?
Yes.
That has nothing to do with shooting, bro. Oh my
You
God.
just said he's efficient.
Let's just move
dude,
on.
Let's move on, dude. You don't know what stat you're looking at. Oh my God.
Okay. He has the efficiency argument, but I don't think that has the edge over Jordan, Chamberlain.
That's two guys. We're talking about top 5 all time.
I don't think he has the edge over Jordan or Trey Merlin either.
Right. Still 3 other spots to
like I said before, 50-point games and 60-point games, a disappointment, but that's my argument. But moving on. So we're moving on right here to a start one, bench one, cut one real quick between Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, and Donovan Mitchell. So
I want to hear your thoughts on this.
Start one, bench one, cut one.
I thought when we were discussing topics, I thought I kind of gave my clear-cut answer. I kind of switched it up. I know when we talked about it first, I put Beal as my starter, but I actually switched it to Mitchell, based solely on the fact that his rookie season and from that point on, he's led the Jazz to playoff success. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Bradley Beal, I know he's been to playoffs, but that's with John Wall healthy and, leading the reins for the Wizards. Beal, I feel like he just excels at
one thing.
I know all these guys kind of do, but I just feel like Mitchell is a little bit better at him than in defending and in passing. So that's why I put Mitchell as a starter, because I know he has Gobert, but Gobert is a defensive piece. He's just one part. So Mitchell, just because of his playoff success, I benched Beal because I still think he's better than Booker. I don't really rate Booker highly as a lot of people do, just because I know he plays for the Phoenix Suns. It's a bad organization. He hasn't had a lot of success with them until obviously the bubble. Recent memory. I do give him credit for going off in the bubble and leading the Suns to 8-0. It's tough that they're still going to make the playoffs, but them getting Chris Paul this year and then them being the second best team record-wise in the West right now, it's good for him. But I feel like just basically off of just player, I feel like Beal is better than Booker, so I just cut Booker and I benched Beal.
Yeah. Hey, this is tough. Because obviously Beal and Booker are, I remember the Booker 70-point performance. Beal has had a lot of all-star snubs, and he's currently leading the league in points per game, I think. So he is the current scoring title favorite. And then Mitchell has obviously had a great rookie campaign and led the Jazz to a lot of stuff. This is tough. Man, and I'm gonna lead towards offense here, and I'm gonna. Oh man, I like Spider though. I like Donovan Mitchell. Oh man. I'm gonna start Beal. I'm gonna start Beal solely based off the fact that he is just very dominant. I think in scoring. I think he is a certified all-star, certified superstar. I think he just scores, and he is that guy. I think maybe sometimes with Booker, you think he needs to be that second guy behind Chris Paul, especially this season. I think Chris Paul is like the guy, and Booker has slacked off a little bit in scoring this year. But I'm going to start. I think I'm going to start Beal, and I'm going to bench Donovan Mitchell, and I'm going to cut Booker because Beal, I think, is a far better scorer, and I think Donovan Mitchell is just a great team leader. He had one of the best rookie seasons in recent memory, a certain sleeper.
Should have got rookie of the year.
Helped up my fantasy team that year, helped me to a win that year. I remember that. Picked him up off waivers. Shout out Donovan. Shout out Spider. He's my guy. I can't cut him. I'm sorry, Booker. I know you're a killer. I know you got 70 points per game under your 70-point game under your resume, but I gotta go with Beal and Mitchell.
Is Devin Booker one of the top 5 scorers ever now? Because he has a 70-point game.
I mean,
he's outside of Kobe and Wilt. I don't know who else has that.
I mean, he's got 70. I mean,
go on, Will. Go on.
He was very efficient that game. I can tell you that.
That's usually how you score that much.
Before you go, Will.
Not usually, because you've seen the 54 2014 career high from someone else, but
Yeah.
Before you go, Will, I'm just leaning on trading Beal and Booker. They're just so close to me. I know they might be better scorers than Mitchell, but I just feel like Mitchell, just because of what he did his rookie season and then on, because I'm looking at it as a career perspective. I don't know if you guys are doing this off of just this season.
Right.
Then you probably put Beal as a starter, but I'm just talking about career-wise, what Beal and Booker have done. I feel like they're the same person. I feel like they need a second piece to lead a team to playoff success.
Yeah, I agree.
I know Booker was close to that last season, like we said, in the bubble. But I feel like they're just interchangeable just because I feel like they're basically the same type of player.
They were all all-stars this year, right? Yeah.
Yeah, they're all all-stars. They're all not really good on defense, and they all play the same position. I don't know, it's a tough one, man.
I have very different, very, very different than you guys. I'm starting Booker, and I'm benching Beal, and I'm cutting Donovan Mitchell.
Wow.
That's crazy.
I was going to go with Beal because I feel like Beal is just the best player out of them, just as the best player. But I was looking at, like, if I started today for the future, that's how I looked at this. So I chose Booker, just a little bit younger. That's how I looked at it. Otherwise, I would have probably put Bradley Beal first. Now, I'm not a big Beal guy, really. And I was looking at Mitchell. I'm like, man, this dude has led a team to playoff success. But then I looked at the help he's had around him, and I'm like, not that Rudy Gobert and Joe Ingles and all these boys, Mike Conley, whatever, that they're great, but they're better than what Bradley Beal has had. I'm sorry, Devin Booker has had. Booker went off last year in the bubble, and he just I saw what I needed to see from him. I want to see, can you lead a team? The other thing you brought up, I think last week, was Booker can show that he can really run an offense.
Yeah.
And be the leader on an offense, which now CP3 does. Like, he doesn't need to do that, obviously. But so I valued that, I factored that in. Bradley Beal is he's just that good at scoring. Like that good at scoring. And this was just so hard for me. I didn't really know. I honestly could have intertwined all of them, but I cut Mitchell strictly just based off. I was like, I just think the other two guys are better if I'm starting today. That's how I looked at it. So
wow, if you're starting today, wow.
I think, like I said, I'm not a big Booker fan, but I think him having CP3, I don't know how long he's gonna stay with the team, but I feel like that's gonna help his game a lot.
It's gonna help his growth. Yeah,
his growth. Yeah, he's gonna progress a lot because of CP3. So if we do this next year, I feel like I could put Booker as a starter.
Yeah.
Just because I think he'll develop as to more of an all-around player, better than Mitchell and Beal. But I do feel like Mitchell and Booker are the ones that can develop all around better than Beal. I feel like Beal is just a good scorer.
That's true. Yeah.
I think Mitchell is the best defender right now out of them.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens with Beal, with trades to different teams, to see if he leaves the Wizards this offseason, and if he joins another team, and they do well in the playoffs, that'll, I think, certainly raise his argument too. But I mean, Booker and Mitchell have had really good team success recently too. So
yeah,
Beal hasn't. So I mean, there is that argument. There is that argument too. I mean, Booker and Mitchell have had great team success, and Beal has not. So
I mean, he did with John Wall.
With John Wall, I guess, but
after John Wall left, I mean, Beal's not credit, but to his defense, his team was just bad.
His team has been ass. Yeah,
bad.
Been multiple funny photos of Beal on the bench, just
like
drained, drained.
Like Booker with CP3, Beal with Westbrook could help him progress into being a better team leader, a better passer.
True.
Better defender. You never know. I feel like Westbrook is just as good as a team leader as Chris Paul. So.
All right then. Interesting debate. Let us know what you think too. Comments below. See if we're right. See if we're wrong. Very tough. Start one, bench one, cut one this week. But real quick, we got a player versus player debate as usual. This week we have Derrick Rose. A what if? May I add, between what if Derrick Rose and Brendan Roy never got injured? Who would have been the better player? Real quick, I'm going to go first here. I'm going to say I'm going to say Derrick Rose, solely based off the fact that he was one of the most promising point guards, one of the most promising players in NBA history. Unreal finisher, led the Bulls to multiple playoffs. They probably would have went to the finals if, he had stayed healthy. I think down the line, I think he would have developed and gotten better too. I mean, that MVP season is nuts, and I think he only would have gotten better and would have continued to average unfathomable points per game numbers. And just an overall point guard, legend. Brandon Roy. I know Brandon Roy would have been really, really nice. One of the great Blazers players too. Huh?
What? Nothing.
Huh?
I didn't say anything. Go on.
A great buzzer beater, but I'm gonna go with Derrick Rose just because he could have been the best player of all time if he had stayed healthy. So that's my opinion.
Is he done?
I'm defending Derrick Rose. You should be happy about this, Mohammed. Come on.
Will,
cut me some slack.
I have a question before I go.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you do a lot of research on Brandon Roy's career?
I didn't go too in depth. No. Do you want to? Did you? I did go I sided with Derrick Rose. Well, I didn't side with him. I'm just, since I know his history really well, I was just gonna. I know the history of Brandon Roy.
Good enough. I do know a little bit, but like numbers wise, and when his injury started kicking, I'm not really a history. But
I'll go over that a little.
Yeah, but to me, I'm not trying to compare these two guys. I feel like I'm just gonna talk about Derrick Rose, what his career could have been. I'll try to say as much as for Brandon Roy, as much as I know. But D Rose, I mean, the man came in the league #1 overall pick from Memphis. Shout out to John Calipari, Kentucky, my guy. But what's it called? First year, he went Rookie of the Year. He took the Bulls to the playoffs. Second year, he was an All-Star. Believe it or not, he averaged 20.6 assists.
That's amazing.
Yeah, he was a promising guy. Then third year, obviously, we all know about the MVP season, which he well deserved. I know a lot of Twitter, Instagram, just in general, basketball hate for no reason. Just overrating Derrick Rose's MVP year and what he could have been. I don't understand the hate around that. The man was 22 and was leading the Bulls.
Already averaged 25 and at 22.
25, 7, 4 rebounds. Just this is
best player, best team.
Yep.
Seems like the criteria for an MVP to me. I don't know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So obviously the next year we know about the injury started to hit with the shortened season too. Toe injury, back spasms, sore knees, wrist injuries too. Just all over the body, he just started to break down. Because he averaged 38 minutes his MVP year, and he played 81 games. So he only missed one game his MVP year. And he's averaging 37 minutes with Tom Thibodeau as the head coach. And we all know, as Bulls fans, me and Will, Tom's, his reputation in playing a lot of minutes. So, like we said,
I brought this up early in the episode. Come on.
Like we said, like Will said with AI, the fact that he played 14 years and was averaging 40 minutes a game, that's insane, bro.
That's stupid.
Fact. So I kind of wish Derrick Rose
in the playoffs.
I wish Derrick Rose had that luxury, but obviously he didn't. He still put up 21 points, 8 assists, 4 rebounds. Obviously his scoring was less, but he did have big games that season, especially against Miami. Against Kobe and the Lakers, first day, Christmas Day, game-winning floater over Paul Gasol. You guys.
Derrick Rose has my favorite dunk of all time and my favorite finish of all time against Miami Heat. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Facts.
You know which ones I'm talking about. I know you're talking about. I know you know.
Yeah. I know.
Get up or get out the way.
Joel Anthony should shave his head for the rest of his life.
Did you not get the memo? Get up or get out the way.
Wait, you said shave his head?
I mean,
the man was.
I know. I'm just saying, keep it that way. I know. I'm saying, keep it that way.
Bulls fan.
For real.
You don't even know the dunk I'm talking about, Zach. Come on.
Yeah, Zach.
Get up or get out the way. Did you not get the memo?
Yeah. Okay. Stacey King said that about 100.
Did you not get the memo?
No. The
fact can go up there.
No.
He can go up
there. The dunk on Steve Nash, was it not? Right.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, so the one on
He doesn't know what I'm talking about, bro.
Right. The Joel Anthony was in the playoffs.
That's a whole different story.
A TNT game, and it was
Marv Albert. The defense, bro.
Split the defense, went around him. Like, literally was about to dunk on the left side of the rim, switch to the right side, and just...
It's the greatest dunk ever. This is the greatest dunk ever.
That man was just
That's the one.
unreal,
is that the one where he looked like he gained an extra step in midair?
Yeah, he literally shifted from the left side of him to the right side of him.
It looked like he went higher somehow. I want to go higher. I want to go higher.
Yeah, but like I said, 2012 season, he's still putting up decent numbers. The Bulls still got the number 1 seed that year. We're on the road to another conference finals matchup against the Heat, and then we all know the history with the ACL tear. Sets out 1 year. Damn. Will... I don't know if you remember, but the 2013 season, pretty good team. And I don't know if you remember, but in April, he was supposed to return that month. Mm-hmm. And I remember the big countdown to all Bulls fans had 13 days away, 12 days away. I was literally, every time I logged on to Facebook, I was just seeing that countdown.
I turned my wall into a calendar.
And the time came, and we found out that he didn't have enough confidence to come back.
Now we definitely see why now.
Yeah. And he misses that season. The Bulls end up being the playoffs. They win the first round matchup. Brilliant series, 7-game series against the Brooklyn Nets. I advise you guys to watch that series. Really good.
Was that there's a good old short dude on that team, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My God. Nate the Great, man.
You know who we're talking about? Nate the Great? Nate Robinson?
Nate Robinson, yes.
Oh, okay.
I remember when he blocked LeBron James.
I just want to make sure.
I remember when he blocked LeBron. That
was a block of the year, by the way.
That block is hilarious, dude. He come out of nowhere. LeBron was so...
Should have been the block of the year.
Wow, that was...
Facts. 2013, 2014, first season back from ACL injury, ends up tearing his meniscus from just literally turning around. So at that point, me as a Bulls fan was just distraught. I thought it was the end for him. But let me fast forward to him now. He's still balling out. He's still playing at a high level, good enough to be a sixth man, good enough to be a starter on some teams. Yeah. I know he's been kind of a journeyman lately, but I feel like he's been on teams that haven't really used him to his full potential. But I'm happy that he's back with the Knicks. I'm happy he's back with Tom Thibbs. He's doing great for the Knicks right now. They're making playoff push. But this man,
he had a 50-point game on the Wolves.
On the Wolves, right.
On the Wolves.
He scored 50 points after having 4 knee surgeries, man. And he still was quick. He's still one of the fastest guys in the league after all those surgeries. So
scored 50 points?
Yeah, don't you remember the
top five scorer of all time, bro?
All time. Would have been. He would have been.
That's crazy.
He would have been. He probably would have been.
That's facts, though.
You guys got to understand, dude, when you compare his third NBA season to guys like Chris Paul and Curry and John Wall and Westbrook, they weren't doing what he was doing, man. So the fact that people still be like, I don't think he should have been a top 5 point guard. He would have been not a top 10 player. I'm not going to that stretch. I think he would have been one of the greatest point guards to ever play. I think he would have got at least a ring or two. I think he would have got another MVP. But just his potential for him to be 22, third NBA season, doing what he did. You tell me if he didn't spend half his years up until now rehabbing, you don't think he would have improved his game? He could have been a better jump shot shooter. He could have shot the 3. He could have averaged more points, man. Just his potential. That's why people, rate him so high, because of his potential, bro. And like I said, if you compare his season, what he was doing to other point guards those first couple of years, he couldn't stop him. Every time he matched up against guys like Wall, Chris Paul, Westbrook, Curry, all of them. Brandon Roy, I think Brandon Roy's last pretty decent season was
back then we're talking about Tony Parker, CP3.
Yeah, Tony Parker,
those boys.
Yeah. So come on, man. He would have been all-time great.
The most explosive player of all time, in my opinion.
This man was if you just watch his highlights, the way that man was moving, bro. Look how quick he went right to left. Nobody could stop him. So if he got the help, if he just developed his game, he would have been for sure top 10 point guard. Could have been a top 5 point guard. I don't know. I don't know where he would have been on an all-time great list, but he would have been special, man. So he's a top 3 what if NBA star of all time.
Every time I see a what if ever on social media about any sports, Derrick Rose
is always
the one that comes to mind. Yeah.
Yep. Facts,
it's always the first one that comes to mind.
Let's give
I know I
Brandon
might sound
Roy.
biased. Yeah.
Let's give Brandon Roy some acknowledgement here. All right. He played 6 seasons, basically 5. He played 5 games in his last season. All right. He dealt with injuries.
When was his last season? Was it 2012 or 2011?
You want to, Zach?
My bad. No, sorry.
I got it.
I didn't have it off. I didn't have it offhand. I'm doing this from memory.
Just keep going.
He had injuries.
Yeah.
Every year of his career, like immediately in his rookie year, the knees were a problem. He never had. He was never good, bro. In terms of, he was a good player. He was never good in terms of health. Like Brandon Roy never had good health. It just was always a problem for him. I mean, yeah, I wrote down his career was riddled with injuries every year. I mean, there's something, ankles, knees, whatever. He still managed to make 2 All-Star teams. He won the Rookie of the Year by a landslide.
Three
Landslide wasn't even close. 3?
Yes.
3 All-Star? I might have accidentally typed that wrong.
3-time All-Star.
Yeah, fair. I might have clicked 2 on accident. But like he won the Rookie of the Year by a landslide. Everybody knew when he got in the league, bro, that he was it. Like he was that dude. Facts. Everybody knew. We all seen the iconic shot. Zach mentioned it. Like Brandon Roy was gonna be good. He was riddled with injuries at age 26. 26, guys. 26. Most guys are just starting to smell the prime. Right. The doctor said to him, his career is over. Like, it's basically over. His knees were so bad, they were bone to bone. There's no cartilage there, nothing. I don't know too much about the anatomy of, like, your knee. I don't know if that's, like, meaning there's no cartilage or whatever. My consultant. Mm-hmm. My consultant went to bed, so I can't ask.
I'm saying he only played. You can count that 6th season. He only played 5 games. So
yeah, so 5 years.
He really only played 5 years.
5 years, right? And they basically none of them were fully healthy years. He always had some worry. And the doctors basically told him his career was over at 26. You can't play anymore, or you're gonna suffer. You're not going to be walking or something down the road. So similar to what LaMarcus Aldridge had to go through, except, LaMarcus is a little more serious in terms of, like, you could die.
Yeah.
But, like a similar thing. He had to choose to walk away.
Yeah.
And Brandon Roy he deserves credit. Like, he was going to be that guy. He really was. But he wasn't going to be Derrick Rose, guys. He wasn't going to be Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He was a shooter, man.
I don't disagree, but he
was right. Steph Curry before Steph Curry.
I understand. I think Brandon Roy would have been easily a top 5 player in the NBA. He would have been, I don't know where he'd rank all time. It's hard to say, but like the Blazers, if they had him, LaMarcus, and then Batum. So they wouldn't have got Dame down the road, but like that team could have been decent. I don't know if they're
top 5 team in the West for sure.
Yeah.
But Derrick Rose, man, here's the number one issue I have with people. Oh, Derrick Rose in his prime or Westbrook in his prime? What?
Thank you.
Derrick Rose didn't hit his prime, bro.
That's what I'm saying.
Tell me, Derrick Rose played 3 healthy years. 3 years of his career before he was hurt. 3.
That's crazy.
You're gonna tell me Buddy hit his prime in his 3 years? No, if he hit his prime by his 3rd year, he would have had the longest prime ever. Because he would have played. You say your prime lasts till what, 35 or so for some players, maybe 36. I don't know.
I say 33.
33. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because great players, they go a little longer, right? He would have had like the longest prime ever. Derrick Rose was a different level guy. He was a different story, guys. He averaged 18.4. He averages 18.4 points for his career. I wrote down these. So 5 assists, 3 rebounds, 0.8 steals, 1 block, basically 0.3 steals. He won the MVP. We know this. In the 3 years that he played healthy, because those were his career stats, just the 3 years on the Bulls, here's what he did. 22 points per game, essentially 8 assists per game, 4 rebounds per game, a steal, and a block. You're going to tell me that's not going to improve?
A block as a point guard? Crazy.
Here's the other thing. Derrick Rose was an abysmal shooter. Like, he was horrible shooter when he got into the league.
Yeah.
Granted, the league was very different back then. With the way the league is now, you don't think he's developing a jump shot like that?
Oh yeah, he's a good shooter now too.
He has developed.
Well, I mean, I know, but I'm saying like, let's assume he is healthy and he still could, be as quick as he was. He's still developed a jump shot. He wouldn't need it like some players. Like Steph's game is really relying on shooting.
Right.
Derrick Rose would just have that in his back pocket, right?
Right.
Yeah, dude, I personally think Derrick Rose would have had the shot to be the best point guard ever. Like, I really look at how good he could have been. And I do think that the Bulls would win championships if he had stayed healthy.
Yep.
If he stayed healthy, you could have recruited free agency.
Yeah.
He would have at least got some help for sure.
Somebody. And that's the other thing is the Bulls had like one all-star on that team. I don't know if Luol Deng was making all-star teams.
Luol Deng made it 2013 and 2014.
So when
2013,
when Rose wasn't playing. Okay.
Yeah.
So they didn't really have any all-star help, guys. Derrick Rose is nuts. This dude, you had to watch his game, dude. Like I can't explain how watching his highlights, how much better he looked than everyone else. His MVP year, okay. Just because everybody wants to go by stats, it's not all about stats. Watch the game, bro. He was so much better than everybody else. I get it. Everybody will be like, LeBron was the best player in the league that year. I'm not so sure, bro. Derrick Rose was killing it that year.
Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, Celtics had their big three. Dwight Howard had all those guys around him. Derrick Rose is literally the only superstar in the East without.
Bro really went up against that team with Boozer and Luol Deng.
And it's funny because Boozer and Noah missed 40 games at the beginning of the season.
Right.
And they were still top 3 in the East with him. He was literally the only offensive
and
Luol Deng.
That's one thing I think that doesn't even get talked about because I don't think Derrick Rose is vocal. I think his leadership is underrated. Right. And I think those first 3 years show it. And it's because he's so quiet. You don't see it, but I'm sure on the court it's different. Like I'm sure his teammates hear it. We're not going to hear it from the media, but in the game, he's got to be a great leader. There's no other way. There's no other way. And I understand Boozer's a good, vocal leader like on that team. Same with Joakim Noah. Don't disrespect him.
Don't disrespect.
But it's just
that's why I said Luol Deng and Boozer because Noah was a force of nature. So
I just don't think people understand because like you say, Mohammed, everybody's so recency bias. Folks forget how good this man was.
Thank you.
My favorite player is Kevin Durant, but I gotta be honest, I think like 3 of my top 5 favorite plays of all time are by Derrick Rose. All right, that Joel Anthony dunk. That's my favorite dunk of all time. The up and under finish with LeBron. Dude,
LeBron and D Wade on
started. That's the greatest finish I've ever seen in my life.
The greatest layup I've ever seen.
I've never seen anything that great. And then then his. I just love his cocking it back. I don't know what they call this tomahawk dunk. Not that he did it on anybody. That's my favorite dunk of all time in terms of like a freelance dunk.
Right,
guys. Derrick Rose would have been easily top 5 point guard.
I also
it's not close. It's
not
debatable.
I love that bank shot game winner in the playoffs over the Cavs too.
Yeah, that was his first year that he wasn't really injured. I think he did tore his meniscus, but he chose not to have surgery, and I think he chose to like take it out or something. I think that's an option.
That's what Eric did.
Yeah,
fast recovery. Just screw it. I can't.
And then the Bulls played another one bites the dust in the background, and he jumped up and had the iconic celebration.
Stone face.
That just brings me warm memories.
It's so hard to think about like what if he wasn't in that game. Like I'm sure all of us, maybe at least Mohammed and I, remember where we were.
Oh, come on.
during that game, bro.
I just said it brought me warm memories.
Facts.
I mean, do you know where you were? I know exactly where I was.
Against the Sixers, a minute and 12.
I know who I was talking to, bro.
Up 12 points. Derrick Rose drives in super hard for no reason. Does an unnecessary hop step, and that's when it started to
He shouldn't have been in the game. If I would like to know what the Bulls would have been like with a different coach. Not that I love Thibodeau, but just like, or maybe if the front office could have gotten him to play less.
Derrick Rose, his athleticism, that wasn't his downfall. It was just the way he took care of his legs, the landing, his eating options. Just I feel like if he had a better training staff, because like we said, Bulls training staff is just top 5 worst of all time in NBA
one
history,
thing.
bro.
One thing Magic Johnson has said, and I don't know the truth in this. I'm not a doctor or anything, but he has said that all this gear that players wear, I think I brought this up before. It helps players, but it also hurts them because once you start wearing this protective gear, your body no longer protects itself.
Right.
And so it's I'm trying to think of like a comparison. A good comparison is like when you're having surgery. It's not a great comparison, but if you're having surgery and you have to stop your heart, or they have to put your heart on a manual pump and your heart's not working for itself,
Right.
It's a similar kind of thing. So he wore a ton of leg gear, and
and he still had
Magic Johnson talked about it. Well, yeah, but I don't know. Magic's point was maybe this stuff wasn't helping him. I don't know the truth in that though. But
I mean, it helps Steph for sure with his ankle issues for him to.
But
he wasn't wearing ankle bracelets or ankle whatever you want to call it before he started. After he started,
I think Magic was saying preemptively. If you're wearing this stuff preemptively and you haven't had issues, it might harm you. Again, I don't know. Somebody, if anybody wants to look it up one day and find out the medical truth in that, I don't know. I just watched that interview.
I just want to make one last quick point. I feel like the landscape would be different with Brandon Roy and Derrick Rose not getting injured because of the. Let me say for D Rose, just because his play style, I feel like him and Russ were the only play styles that were just different from every other point guard, because you had shooters like Steph, and then you had floor generals like Tony Parker and Chris Paul, obviously. So if you're an NBA team or just teams in general, if you saw guys like Rose and Russ, and let's just say they didn't have injuries like they did in their careers, don't you think teams would have opted more towards guys like that than opposed to a Chris Paul type player, like a Steph Curry, like Steph, how he changed the league with his shooting? You think Derrick Rose and Russell Westbrook, if they didn't get injured as much as they did, don't you think point guards would have looked more like them, other than more than?
It would have been. There certainly would have been a lot more point guard battles in finals. Yeah, playoffs, I think, and
I feel like point guards in general would be different.
We say it's a point guard league now, but if Rose had stayed healthy, and I mean, it would have been insane. The battles that would have happened.
Oh well.
But a bit of a long episode. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for keeping with us. But we got bold takes real quick to wrap all of this up. Sean's not with us this week, our guest star, but he had a nice one. Wizards go on a winning streak. They have gone on a winning streak. They have won 4 straight as of this episode, and they are making a push for the playoffs and the play-in game. So interesting. We talked about the Wizards before. I've frequently said the Wizards should be a playoff team with Beal and Westbrook, even if with some of the injuries they've had. But next, I'll go. Bulls are not the 8 seed, sadly enough. Warriors so close. If the Grizzlies had lost tonight, and the Warriors had won, they would have moved into the 8th seed. But sadly, the Warriors are still not in the 8th seed. And Kyrie let me down and did not have a 50-point game, even though Steph Curry did.
Did he play? I
don't think Kyrie played. He's out due to personal reasons. Steph did have a 50-point game, been on a hot streak. I should have said that, but that would have just been bad. Kings for Mohammed. Kings win, going a 3-game win streak.
They've been on a 9-game losing streak. Is terrible.
They lost every game.
1-9 in their last 10.
Crazy, man.
Will, Bulls undefeated this week. More power to you for doing it again, but didn't happen. Dame had a game. Dame did not have had a.
No, he didn't. No. Oh well.
So, shout out Sean, got that take right. But episode 12, bold takes. I think I have to go again because
you by default you need to go first.
Yes, but I've been decent, I think. This week I'm going to say that I'll say I can't say it again that the Bulls and the Warriors are going to the 8 seed. Really? Can I? I mean,
I don't think the Bulls can, or maybe they can.
I'm gonna say.
Yeah, they can.
I'm gonna say. We're on the topic of 50-point games a lot. I'm gonna say Steph gets another one. Steph gets another 50-point game under his belt.
Is Durant healthy?
Oh yeah.
Okay. I got another one for myself then.
Facts. Need another one. Clippers go on a 5-game losing streak. That's my bold takes this week. Clippers go on a 5-game losing streak and Steph 50-point game. Decent. Yeah, I have to go first. Yeah. Who's next?
Mohammed, can you go? I gotta look something up here.
Okay. Well, I was gonna do a player bold take, but I actually opted to another team one. I'm gonna relax on the Bulls takes because I feel like I am jinxing them because they have been on a really bad losing streak lately. So I actually have Clippers will be the number 1 seed by the end of next week. They are 4 games out of the number 1 seed right now, behind the Suns and Jazz, but they have been playing really good, especially without guys like Kawhi, Ibaka being out right now, and Patrick Beverly. So, and then I have a second one. Forgot Sean had a Wizards one last week, but since they have been on a 4-game win streak, I feel like they will be entering as the 8th seed by next time we record. So 13. They are the 10th seed right now. I don't know how many games are behind the 8th seed. I think the Hornets are the 8th seed right now. So I feel like the Wizards, with the way they've been playing, especially how Russ and Beal have been carrying the team, especially Russ, I think they're going to be entering a playoff spot instead of a play-in spot.
Facts.
Okay. I've got a lot. Not really. Bulls are going to...
Don't say anything about the Bulls, bro, please.
Bro, I said I'd say it every week. I'm not going to say it, but we know it's there, right? I'm not going to say it. We know it's there.
Don't speak into it.
I just want to speak about it. Drummond's going to have a 20-20 game. 20 points, 20 rebounds. Okay. You got that, Zach?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Suns going to jump to the 1 seed. And since we were on the topic, Mr. Dude who doesn't...
Give me 1 second.
Oh, okay. Mr. Dude who... Okay, Mohammed, since you're... I was looking at Durant's last few games and how stupidly efficient he's been. Shooting the ball like 13 times a game.
Right.
13 times like shooting 25. And still scoring 30. He shot the ball, scored 31 points, shot the ball 14 times. What? That's dumb. Crazy. That's dumb.
Crazy, man. Top 5 scorer to me all time.
100%. I got to look at this. It's too bad look at this. Oh, only took 5 shots there. Huh. Oh, that was the game back. Made them all. Crazy.
And, right. Yeah. That one game, he still had like 21 points.
Look, 15 points there. He only missed 4 shots, 74% from the field. Crazy. 31 points.
And look at his minutes, Will. Look at his minutes.
I'm sorry. It's a long episode.
27.
He's literally playing under 30 minutes each game, too.
Yeah, I know.
Drummond 2020 and Suns.
Yeah, 20, but the 2020 is obviously points and rebounds.
Yeah, right? Obviously, right.
Suns will jump to the 1 seed. And I'm going to say Durant won't take more than 18 shots in a game this week.
Okay.
You know, because I know he doesn't score enough.
You could be bold and say he'd score 50 because that rarely happens.
I mean, if he takes 18 shots, he'll score 50. If he takes 18 shots, he will score 50.
The way he's been playing, yeah, for sure.
If he scores, if he shoots the ball 18 times, he'll score 50.
He has been on one. He had like 22 minutes and 3 points the other night.
So. Yeah, last night he shoots the ball 14 times, 31 points. Yeah.
Very efficient.
That's
right,
yes, sir. Yeah, you give him 31 shots like certain players, and let's see how many points he scores.
I would love to see that, bro. This man's gonna be up there with Kobe and 80.
All right then. Sure. So solid takes. Anybody have any running anything for the season to add to their running list?
Got nothing.
I have enough right now.
Yeah,
we got enough.
We need to end this. We've been too long.
Yep.
I feel bad. People had to suffer listening to you, Zach. It's crazy.
People had to suffer.
That KD take at the end was just a waste of time for
us. KD takes from yours truly. Thanks for listening again, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for this long episode. Had a lot on the plate this week, but appreciate y'all. Shout out to social media. See y'all later.
Chelsea is winning the UCL this year, okay? They're going to beat Real Madrid, and they're going to beat Man City in the final. Just book it right now, okay? FA Cup winners and Champions League winners this season. Thank you.
Salute.
Parma will score more than one goal.
Thomas Tuchel is the best manager in the world, by the way.
All right, that's it. And peace.
Conte's better than Kimmich. Thank you.
Peace,
oh my God.
Folks.
That's going to get cut off anyway. That's going to get cut off.
Peace.